Hey guys, welcome back. Another day, another Transformers review. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope that wherever you're at, you're having a wonderful day. But here I am back, as I said, with more Transformers. This time is Transformers Studio Series 86. This is from obviously the animated movie back from the 80s. And it's a Dinobot, Snarl. Been looking forward to this one. I have Slag or Slug, Grimlock, and sludge. So essentially, this would be four, and then after this, I'm kind of just waiting for swoop, pterodactyl or pterodon. So happy to finally get this in. Again, you could see him there. I believe this guy may have been in a one you blink and you miss it type shot in the movie. So he really wasn't as prominently featured as the other three and Soup. So, but again, it's nice that we are finally getting the whole set in this bigger series. There you go, Studio Series 86, number 19. There he is in all his glory with the robot mode and his sword. Dino mode, Stegosaurus there. And you guys can see, trying to focus here on the, you do get a background with him, a backdrop, right? But pretty cool nonetheless. Gonna rip this open because I'm really excited and give you guys a closer look. Okay, so finally was able to get this guy out of the box, and let me tell you, he is awesome. If you have access to all the other Studio Series Dinobots, very much in line with that. The big chunky body up top, the huge limbs, obviously these Dinobots are all in great shape. But it's awesome again to have Snarl here. What you do get in the box is instructions, which I would recommend you read. There are some tricky spots, especially with the legs here, as far as the transformation goes. So I would definitely take a gander at these. You also get a sword, which is nice that these are coming with weapons if that's your thing. But it's nicely done. It is soft plastic, so it is bendable, but it's got some nice detailing on it done. It's not plain. You guys can see there the lines, circles, especially then on this side. There is a peg here for him to hold the sword in his hand. So he can hold it like that. And then there's another peg here for to hold in the back. Essentially, you could have it like that for storage. So that's really cool. But man, this guy, the details they've put here, the face pretty much spot on with what was in the cartoon. The detailing on the red, it's nice big chunk of plastic, but they've added some nice line work there. Autobot sign there. This piece here as well reminds me of a radar for some reason. But again, the sculpting and the work that's been done to add detail, it's not just plain red plastic. Same thing there. And then the arms, of course, these huge, humongous arms. These are the bag legs, essentially. But again, some nice work there. Legs, same thing. The black here, there's details there as well. Then continue on with the gray, the legs. I love this blue with this black. There's not a lot of other colors but gray, black, and red. So nice to see some blue here. So that's really cool. Here he is on the back, and that's, what's really cool here is like it's finished, right? There's not gappage that much, if any. Like everything's nice and covered, and it looks really nice from that angle. Granted, most people are not gonna display their figures from that angle, but yeah, this guy is hefty. Definitely the part. Kind of makes me wish we get masterpiece figures of these guys with some diecast in them. I know they would be crazy expensive, especially now. But what we got here in the Studio Series line is pretty cool. As far as articulation, this guy does have his head does fully turn around. He kind of looks slightly up. What you can do is you could moving the head all the way back in as part of the transformation. So if you wanted to, you could angle the head back, but he could look forward maybe just a tad. You saw the head rotates. Nice ratchets here on the arms, on the shoulders, the elbows here. That's you can take this off if you wanted to add more articulation. That's again part of the transformation, but nice articulation there. You guys could see there's some rotation there. The arms, sorry, the hands here, they're stuck in that fist mode, but again, I think it fits the character and they can fully turn and rotate. You guys see here the waist, completely able to turn around. Nice hefty legs that can pretty much, there's some good ratchets there and they can kick up. There's ratchets here on the waist and then also on the knee here. You can hear them. And then you get your ankle pivot as well. So for good postability. Some gaps here. So I guess if that bothers you, you know, that's something to note. You know, you can try and perhaps cover that with this limb, but that's the way I have them in mind. But I mean, yeah, overall, you can post this guy. I mean, as big as he is, he can get into some cool, you know, dynamic poses, and I think he's gonna look great. I also love, you know, this is part of the Stegosaurus mode. It's the plates from that mode. You know, starting here on the top shoulders, and then going on to the back. They are soft plastic. I don't think they'll break, so just be careful. And then obviously the tail here being split into two, which from the front just looks completely awesome. So really nice figure. I would highly recommend it. Obviously, if you have the other Dinobots, you have to kind of get this one to complete the set if that's your thing. The good thing that I appreciate this one over the other ones is the ratchets. Everything's nice and tight. It's not too tight and it's not loose. I did have someone like Slag, I think, that had a couple of loose limbs. Same with Sludge. I think he had like a loose leg. And for Grimlock, the back part that formed the torso of the T-Rex was also pretty loose. So I'm very happy to report, at least on my copy, this guy can hold a pose, no issues. So yeah, that's really cool. As far as transformation, I will try and take you through that. Usually first thing I do is I usually we can start back here, right? So this section here, you can pull out slightly. So undo this, there's tabs that go tabbed into there, and then you can slightly pull it up. Make sure these tail sections are actually flush all the way back like that when you move this. And then once you do that, what you could do is you could take this and join it together. And then that gives you the tail. Leave this in place right now. We're gonna play around with that next. So now we can move on to doing one thing with the head here. So as I said earlier, you can push this up all the way, and then that's it. It kind of tucks it in place. That'll be out of the way. Next thing would be these arms. And this is obviously the same on both sides, but essentially you're gonna take this and you're gonna hear, you know, a click, right? So once you unclick it, pull it out, and then take this form. You see that tab is gonna go tabbed in there. So just do that, right? And then that's all joined in place. Then I had a bit of difficulty with this part, but essentially you're just gonna take this and fold it, in this case, down, right? So holding this in, take this, you guys see this whole thing pops out, and then turn it around for now. And then now you could take this fist and it goes hiding in there pretty much like that. Then it sits flush. You could take this and sort of turn it this way so that it looks like that for now. We can play around with the legs later. So same thing here. You're gonna take this, you're gonna hear that click right here. Take that off. Make sure that this gets tabbed into here, and you're gonna do that, and then we're good. And then we again take this and we're gonna fold them out. And then take the leg and just turn it forward. Take the fist. Again, make sure these are actually not turned. And then, boom, locked in place. And then you could take this. And then you can get a good idea that these are gonna be the back legs, which we're gonna play with a little bit later on. Next thing to do, turn this fully around for now. You could do the waist turning around at any point in time. And this is, I think, the coolest part of the transformation. So make sure these legs are in and tabbed in. And then we're going to do this. We're going to look on the inside here of this one leg. We're going to take this and pull it out. You could see the foot there for the dyno mode. We're going to take this and essentially just move it up this way. Rotate it so that then this panel here is free, right? And then once it's free, you'll see that this panel can be tabbed into the outside of the leg here. So you'll take that and just make sure it tabs in. No click on that end, but as long as it's tabbed in, you're good. Then we're gonna leave this open. Make sure it's open all the way like that for now. So same thing here. You're gonna take this, pull it like that. Then take this leg, just rotate it out so it's out of the way, and then turn it this way, and it's gonna get stuck there, and we're good. And then just again make sure this is all the way out. Okay, so now we have the legs like this. You're gonna move these toe sections down. Before we get anything here, this is the head actually by the knee. We want to make sure, and I don't know if you could see it here, that these legs, you see these sections here where you see a separate part, they're going to slide forward. So essentially something like this. So you guys see that? It comes out. It has to be like that for dyno mode to be able to allow both pieces to join properly. Same thing here, right? We're going to see if I could show you from this end here. And there you go. We're good. It's a little hard, kind of makes me a bit nervous. Hopefully nothing breaks over time from constantly doing a transformation, but hey, it looks sturdy. Next thing is we're gonna turn these 90 degrees just about to be able to give the head room to come out. We're gonna take this, pull this out, and then now you can pull half of the head out and close this back up. Same thing here. You're gonna bend this 90 degrees, pull this out, and now you can pull this whole head section out right here, and then just close this back up, right? And then you're going to end up with something that looks like this, and you'll see that the head starting, sorry, the whole upper torso with the head starting to take shape. So at this point you kind of start to get the sense that you know where these pieces are going to wind up. One thing before turning this all the way in, you see this torso, what was the front of the torso, just open this slightly because that's where these two sections from the feet are gonna wind up sliding into. So what you could do now is actually join these two pieces. Usually that's what I like to do, is make sure this is all closed up and join these two pieces together like that. You'll wind up with something that looks like that. So we've joined these two parts. Before we do that, obviously you could see that these two sections, as I said, are going to fit in there. We want to make sure that we pull the torso out, right? To allow, this section to go in freely. So now you're going to turn this all the way in, and it's just going to fit in there. And you have to make sure that this section now that's open, the feet, essentially this yellow part, the toes, are going to go sliding in there. So you're going to get something like this. So now you can pretty much just slide this all the way in like that, right? Make sure it's in there. And then you're just going to take these two bottom sections. There are tabs. You see a tab here that's going to go in there. Same thing here. And just turn them both around. You see there's another tab here. So this one should technically go in first, and then this one next. So everything sits in place nice and neat. Here, usually I like to do this last, is mess around with the legs. The dyno legs kind of always give me, like to pose them correctly. So we do that, we turn them. And you can see this guy is already taking shape. So just make sure the feet are in the right place. Before we finish up, obviously we have this section just sort of hanging there. You see there's two sections here for these two tabs, and essentially it's just going to rest in place like that, and they're gonna go tabbed in there, nice and secure, and you have the back done. And pretty much you kind of just play around with angling the feet here to give him, you know, the proper stance at that point, right? So he's going to look something like that. What you could do in this mode is also store this sword. So that's kind of cool that they give you that option. So if you wanted to, you can take these two sections here and tab them in place like that. And then he has storage. But that's pretty much the transformation. So now we're in Dino mode, and you guys could see this thing's an absolute unit. It's like a nice little compact tank. Yeah, very faithful. I guess the only thing that I'm not too crazy about in this mode is the tail. I think the tail should be set back a little more. Right now it's kind of like underneath the figure, but I mean, to me, this is awesome. Again, you guys could see the legs kind of became, I guess, the upper torso. In this case, the upper torso of the robot mode then became the back end of the Dino mode. And again, can't complain, man. They've done such a great job with these Dinobots. So as far as the details, these are the same details that you would see in robot mode, but it's very cohesive. I don't mind it. I do wish this head would stay on a little more together. I mean, it doesn't come apart, but I just don't really like the gap. Blue eyes on the head, again, detailing there, and the mouth kind of opens. So that's really cool. The legs, again, it's like almost like a mustard yellow. I guess a gold would have been better. Maybe a gold to match, maybe more like this. But again, I don't mind it. They are a little, I mean, they're more mustard than actual gold. So it doesn't match up with like the plates here or the tail. On the bottom, I guess there's a bit of gap. I mean, not enough that it bothers me. Again, I'm not going to display my figures like that, so no issues. So yeah, you know, this Dino mode, it's awesome. It's like a nice little compact little tank. So definitely worth it. I love this dinosaur mode. It's so awesome that we have Snarl. You see the detailing there from the back piece. Yeah, but really cool nonetheless. I really do like this Dynamo. It's pretty cool. All right, want to show you guys some comparisons here in Dino mode, right? Just to show the sheer size of these guys, right? Granted, if you have the other ones, you know how big the Studio Series Dinobots are. But here's Snarl in his Dino mode, and just to get us started, here he is next to his this is the Combiner Wars Titans Returned. This is the one that can combine into Volcanicus, which I've never actually done. I just got these because I thought these were pretty cool as Dinobots. But as you guys could see, massive difference there. No comparison, you know. I mean, yeah, you could tell obviously this is Snarl, just a smaller version. And this is not necessarily a bad toy by any means. But this is just, I mean, I know it's a whole class, a whole different size, but just wanted to show the huge, massive size difference there. And then also, I do have all the other Dinobots. Here is a Slag, or Slug as they call him now, from that same line. Again, really tiny. And if we move Slag here out of the way, here he is next to Sludge. And again, you could see the huge size disparity there. So just want to show that off to give you a good idea of how big this Studio Series figure is. This in Dino mode. I love the tankiness, the feel of that guy. Okay, so just wanted to show some comparisons in robot mode to the older Dinobots that I have here. So here we go. Here is Snarl. Again, this is the Combiner War / I guess Titans Returns, Combiner, Volcanicus, I don't know what to even call them anymore, Dinobots. But here's Snarl to your left and Snarl to your right. Obviously, huge difference, huge different price point, but it's awesome nonetheless. Just want to show the huge disparity in size there. If we want to put him to the side, here is Slug or Slag from that same line in robot mode next to Snarl. And here is Sludge. Again, such a huge size difference. But there you go. Just want to show that. And then just real quick, for anyone that may be interested, this is all three. I do have Grimlock. I didn't get a chance to take him out of my display case. But again, just to show you guys the massive, massive size difference between these three Studio Series and the older figures there nonetheless. But pretty cool. Slag, Snarl, and Sludge there. Okay, so we're gonna wrap up the video here, but I wanted to close with some comparisons as I always do. But overall, I'm really happy with this figure. I love the tightness of the joints. I love the way it looks. The transformation's pretty intuitive. It's got some cool steps there with the legs. Not really much to complain on my end. I mean, rather maybe on Dinobot, if the limbs, the legs could have been perhaps a different color, maybe more gold to match the back section here. But overall, this is an awesome, great looking figure. So I would highly recommend it. To start us off here he is next to an Insecticon. So you guys can see the massive size difference with Shrapnel there standing next to him. Here he is next to Beachcomber. Again, massive size difference, but just wanted to show that. So that's really cool. We'll move these two guys out of the way, and why not? Let's throw in Bumblebee. Again, you guys can see the size different, but why not a triple changer? So here's a Blitzwing. I really do think those triple changers should be bigger. I've always imagined Blitzwing and Astro Train to be a little taller than this, but yeah, there you go. Definitely, this guy is definitely taking all the attention away. So we'll move those guys away. Here he is next to the leader of the Autobots. This is Earthrise Optimus Prime, and let's see if we can get Kingdom Rodimus Prime there. But again, you guys could see the size difference, right? Like, and even just heft mass wise, these guys are so much bigger. But again, that definitely looks apart. The scale for me definitely works. So there you go. Here he is next to a guy that's going to be soon going to be replaced by Studio Series. This is Earthrise. No, Kingdom Ultra Magnus. And you guys can see this guy's still bigger. Ultra Magnus, at least this one has always been very chunky. So he does have some kind of mass in comparison to this guy. But again, this guy is still taller. Here he is next to DEFCON. I had DEFCON laying around. I got to do a video on this guy. But again, you could see the massive size difference, right? Like this guy could stand there. No problem. So we'll move those guys out of the way, and we'll try to bring in the heavy hitters. And by heavy hitters, I mean his buddies. So here he is next to Sludge. As I mentioned earlier, this guy I didn't have any issues with his loose joints or anything. This guy, I had to open up the knees and put some paper in there to make the knee joints a little tighter, because otherwise they were very loose. And then also, you know, for the most part, these things back here, they're always like, you know, they don't bother me too much, but they are kind of loose. Wish they would have found a way to lock these in place, like the tail part on Snarl here in comparison to Sludge stays in place, no problem. But again, you could already see these guys are going to stand well together. So we'll move Sludge out of the way for now. Here he is next to Slug. I'm going to call him Slag. Slag, I didn't have many issues, I guess, other than his knees for a size this big were a little loose. Not as bad as Sludge. But I will say, not including Grimlock, it's hard to pick between these two as to which one is my favorite. But you guys could see them there standing next to each other, and definitely looks really, really cool. And then, of course, here he is next to his leader, Grimlock. So here he is next to Grimlock. The only issues I have with Grimlock is that sometimes his back pieces are kind of just loose. Doesn't bother me too much. The one back here on the left is really loose. But again, I think in robot mode, these guys look so awesome together. So yeah, guys, I would say if you have the other Dinobots and are thinking about getting Snarl here, definitely I would highly, highly recommend him. I think they're all going to look awesome together. I'm trying to get them all in frame here of the camera. So we'll move him out of the way and move him this way. How about that? But yeah, I think great job, Hasbro, Takara. It's so nice that we're getting these and they look great. You guys can see there's 4, so we're only just missing 1. Soup, which I believe, I think we know he's out there. He's coming at some point, so definitely looking forward to that. I would highly recommend this figure if you guys don't have it in your collection. Definitely looks the part. You need to finish the set. This is for me sort of like a childhood dream come true to finally be able to have all these big Dinobots sort of join the collection here as I try to fit all these other figures. Highly recommend it, guys. If I missed anything, if you have any comments, any suggestions, again, please feel free to leave it. But otherwise, thank you so much for your very valuable time. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you next time.